Jimbo's Garage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Jimbo's Garage. Well, we got a pretty nice little project here in the shop today. This just got dropped off by the customer. What we have is a hydraulic oil pump from an elevator shaft here. Now, this is the new pump. So the project at hand here is to replicate this part right here, and it's going to go on right here and adapt to this. This part right here was the old part, and according to the customer, the old pump was 30, 40 years old. It failed, and they can't replace that pump. They don't have this size pump anymore. This is the new pump with a much larger flange right here. So what we're having to do is replicate this part to adapt to this. I've got a new flange here. We've got some new pipe. They've given me some parts right here to make this happen, and this will be a fun little project. There's going to be some welding, some drilling, some cutting. Got a little bit of lathe work to do. After I make the cut, I've got to chuck this up in the lathe, and we need to turn this down to take the bevel out of this. Well, I should say take the lip off this and put a bevel on here to make a nice clean transition right here. So be a fun little project. Let's get started and see what we can do. Today's video is sponsored by King Metals. They've got all your fabrication needs in one location. From hinges to hardware, balusters to metal decor, brass to aluminum, and a whole lot more. You name it, they've got it. Check them out today at kingmetals.com. Now let's get back to today's video. All right, so it's a fun little project here. The first thing I want to do is measure the height of this 3-inch pipe right here. And I've got it marked, so I'm going to unscrew this out of the flange and get it over to the evolution right here. I get it clamped into place, be sure it's nice and level. And I want to be sure that my cut stays nice and true right there. And I got my support underneath the bottom there. And then went ahead and just cut it through. No problems at all. With that Champion cutoff blade right there, that thing does an amazing job. All right, so I'm over here at the lathe. And here's the problem that I have, like I always have a problem. Chucking it up. And then I realized that my steady rest is too small and won't work. So the idea was for me to just chamfer the inside edge there. I thought that would be cool to do it in the lathe, but that didn't work. So I'm over at the Yoast 750 Di. Got it turned on its side right there and the pipe clamp. And I've got this air chamfering tool. And this thing works pretty good. I'm just going to chamfer around the outside right there. And then right on the inside right here to put some nice little chamfer on that. Nice little handy tool to have. Did a clean job there. Got that over at KBC Tools. All right, we got that all done. Everything is cleaned up, and now it's time to get this hole drilled in here. Now this is a 2 1/4 inch hole saw, and I've never done this before, and I really didn't know how this was going to react. I didn't know if I was going to have any problems drilling through this, and you know, you can see that I had a problem right here. The drill and the hole saw there came loose, so I got that adjusted, and once I got that adjusted, everything seems to be working good. And keep in mind, this is Schedule 80 pipe. I didn't realize it until after I cut it, and I took a look at it, and I noticed it was Schedule 80, but look at this hole saw just work its way right through there, no problems at all, and that cut a perfectly clean hole, and that worked out really good. I got everything all cleaned up here, and here's the flange, and I screw that thing all the way down in there. And a little deburring tool to just kind of deburr the inside of that hole and clean it up a little bit so there's no sharp edges. And then it's time to fit this up. All right, you can see that I'm about 1 1/4 inches short is what I needed. I got a piece of 2-inch pipe right here, black pipe Schedule 40. Got it cut at about 2.5 or about 1.5 inches, I should say. And cut that piece off. Then we'll get this over the lathe, and you know, we'll chamfer both the inside and outside on both sides right here. Had a little bit problem right here. The cut was clean, but I had some burrs on it, and I couldn't get it balanced out correctly in the 6-jaw, so I took that over to the Burr King, just cleaned that burr off, and once I did that, then everything ran true. All right, the first thing I'm going to do, since I overcut this thing, like I said, I believe I needed 1 1/4 inch piece, and then this is cut it to about 1.5 inches. So I've got about 1/8 to take off either side, and first thing I did was face the front side there. And then I'm going to be taking a chamfer tool and I'm going to chamfer the inside and the outside of this right here. Catch the outside, put a little bevel on there. And then I'm just getting it adjusted right properly here. And with a PB 40 position tool holder right there, that thing's awesome. You can change tools so fast, so easily. It's a great setup. All right, one side done, get the other side done. Take about 1/8 off here, get my dimension right. A little chamfer to the inside. And then chamfer to the outside, and there it is. That part is done. Nice and clean job. All right, so for the fit up, just goes inside there, and it fits up really nice to that 45, 2-inch 45 right there, and that's gonna work pretty good. All right, so I got this fitting chucked up here in the vise, and I've gotta just take the paint off on this inside and out a little bit, maybe put a little bevel on this outside edge here. And I typically do that with the die grinder. Now, I've got this Ingersoll Rand die grinder that I've had for, I don't know, a couple of years. And recently, this thing's just been a bit of a problem. There's something about the chuck right here. I don't know what the deal is, but I can't even come close to getting a 1/4 inch bit or shaft size down inside. This is typically what it takes, no problem. I've taken this all apart. I've tried to spread it. I don't know what the problem is, but it's just not even close to fitting down inside there. So, I don't know, I retired the Ingersoll Rand and I replaced it with this Sunex or Sunex. I'm not really certain how you pronounce it, HD. This thing wasn't cheap, by the way. I think this is about $175 for this thing. But anyways, we'll give this thing a try. Everything fits in there really nice and tight. Let's give this thing a try. Yeah, like I said, I don't really know how to pronounce the name of the tool. Suni or Sunex or whatever it may be. Whatever it is, it's a pretty high quality tool. I'm pretty happy with the way that works. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, the idea is just get the paint cleared off of this so I can, I've got some welding that's going to happen here, and I just wanted to have a nice metal to metal clean surface. All right, just got a V-block there and a clamp. Just hold everything in place. They're exactly the same size, so it was no problem for the fit up there. Everything worked really good. Get a couple tacks on there. And then here's the situation with this. I couldn't decide to MIG, to TIG, or to stick this thing. So my first option was, okay, I think I'm just gonna put a little TIG bead all the way around this thing and see how that works out. And I'm using some 309L. That's what I was using for the filler rod there. And that worked pretty good. I was okay with it. But I just wanted to be sure that there wasn't going to be any leaks. And I wasn't sure if that was enough weld to hold that flange in place. Like I said, there's no pressure on it or anything, but still in my mind, I wasn't certain. And I thought maybe I might need more. So with that said, I thought, well, maybe I'm going to put a stick pass around the outside of this. And that's what I chose to do. And this is some super weld from Affordable Alloys. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that or used it, but this is some amazing rod right here. They've got some really good products over there. This one here is a little pricey though. It might be right at about $10 or $15 an electrode here. But man, it welds really nice, really clean. And I was happy with this, kinda. All right, so I got this extension piece welded on here, and just to note, off camera, I stick welded the bead around this, and it turned out pretty good. I was pretty happy with it, except it was kind of lumpy in a couple spots. So off camera, I went ahead and ground those lumps down, and I turned around and came back with a big TIG weave pass over the top of this thing, and that flattened that out really nice, and I'm really happy with that. So now we got this done. Now it's time to put this thing and get it assembled, and then we'll tack it a couple locations here and tack a couple locations here, and then we'll be able to weld this out all the way and weld this out, and we'll be close to getting this project complete. So let's do it. All right, a couple other things here. This thing is not going to be under pressure. All this thing does is push oil, basically, is what it does. So maybe 50 PSI, that's it. So I'm really happy with this turned out. This, by the way, is a piece of old hose. They've got brand new hose. This is just a sample piece so I can fit this up. They're going to cut a brand new piece of hose that's going to go over this. This was kind of beat up a little bit. So we're just using this here as an example, or a fit up piece. So basically, that's going to go in there just like that. I'll shim this up. I'll get this lined up perfectly. We'll put some tacks around this right here. And then this is in the position it needs to be, and we'll tack this right here. And then I will probably take this off, and then I'll be able to set this in a position where I can weld this all the way around. We'll put 3 passes on this all the way around, and I'll be able to weld this all the way around as well. I'd just rather do it off the pump over here. I think it's going to be a better way to do it. So let's get this thing shimmed up in the perfect place, get it tacked in, and then we'll finish up the welding. All right, well, just my finger holding that up a little bit here, and had a little bit of problem with the ground clamp right here. This flange has got some coating of paint of some sort on it, and then so does those bolts that are temporarily holding it in place. I couldn't get a good ground connection. I ended up moving it to the top of the pipe right there, and then I had no problems from that point on. Just some tacks right on here to hold it in place. Basically, is all I'm looking to do at this point. And then the same thing on the bottom pipe. Everything is lined up right where it needs to be, and by tacking it in place, I know nothing's going to move around. And then I can go ahead and just simply back off that rubber hose, take the bolts off right here, and then slide the flange and that assembly to my welding table. All right, just in the welding department, it's everything I do is just overkill. This right here probably would have been just fine to put one single pass all the way around this. That thing is threaded an inch down into that flange. And then this thing here is a nice clean weld all the way around. And this is that super weld from Affordable Alloy. Again, nice clean welding in the flat position. And really lays down nice, and that probably would have done it, but I just couldn't stop there, and I decided I'm just going to go ahead and continue to do the 3-pass method here and weld this thing all the way around. So this is the I believe the 3rd and final pass, I believe. I'm just finishing this up. Well, at least I know that this thing is not coming apart and it is not going to leak. The welding is just, I just can't stop. I just got to go to be sure that I'm not going to have any callbacks. There's not going to be any issues with this. All right, there it is. I'm confident with that. And then on the top one right here, this one, I decided to just MIG weld this whole thing all the way around. But once again, I didn't stop here. I went all the way around, and then once I got all the way around, this is the 3rd pass. Somehow I didn't push the record button on the 2nd pass, but this is the 3rd pass. It's just a big weave pass over the top of the whole thing. And I just wanted to be sure that was going to finish it all off and there was going to be no problems. The beauty of this thing is this pump is going to be below ground into a containment area. It's going to be underneath the elevator in a basement type of deal. So it's not going to be seen. However, there it is. The part got done. This is a super fun little project. I enjoy doing stuff like this. It's kind of one-offs. They're fun every once in a while to get stuff like this. And then here it is. The customer came and picked this up, and here's a good example of the table crane in use once again. And this part right here weighs about 300 pounds, probably 250 to 300 pounds. You can see, no problem picking that up and putting it on the tailgate. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my website at jimbosgarage.com. We've got porch seat holders, table dogs, and miscellaneous merchandise. We'll see you guys on the next video.
See you next time on Jimbo's Garage.